Shalom, peace and love, shalom. We'll be reading from the book of Psalms, chapters 37 to 39. And then I'm moving into the book of Proverbs, chapter 26. And then wrapping it up in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3. Bear with me as I try to get through this, y'all willing. The book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 1. Aleph, do not fret because of evil. Do not fret because of evildoers. Do not be envious of the workers of unrighteousness. So it's telling us, this is David, this is the Most High speaking through David, telling us, don't fret, don't be scared because of evildoers. Like don't get frightened because of evildoers. Don't get envious of them because of, what they have, the position they hold, the power they have. Don't get envious of the workers of unrighteousness. Is what it reads. So don't get afraid of the evildoers, and don't get envious of the workers of unrighteousness. The workers of unrighteousness. You know what I mean? Don't envy what they have. Don't envy what they do. Don't envy the position they hold. Don't envy none of that. You know what I mean? Because all of that is from the ancient knowledge of evil, from the enemy himself, the kingdoms, the same kingdoms that he offered the Mashiach, asking the Messiah to bow down and he'll give them all the kingdoms of the world. That's all they have. That's what they, and that comes with a price. That comes with them on the wrong, that comes with them being on the wrong end of the prophecy. When the prophecies fulfill themselves. Verse 2, for they soon wither. This is what it's saying. I'm going to start from the top. Verse 1, do not fret because of evildoers. Do not be envious of the workers of unrighteousness. This is the book of Psalms, by the way. The book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 1. Do not fret because of evildoers. Do not, get frightened because of evildoers. Do not be envious of the workers of unrighteousness. Verse 2, for they soon wither like grass. They soon wither like grass, like no more. They're going to be just like, the lawnmower come chew up the grass and you don't know what happened to it afterwards. All you know is your lawn look good. That's them. That's what the Most High going to do when he bring the lawnmower out. He's going to bring the lawnmower out, which is his messengers, and he going to chew them up like the grass. And that's just how it's going to play out. It says, for they soon wither like grass and fade like green plants. Fade like green plants. It's a song, it's one conscious reggae song that I listen to. Is like, Fade Away. It's called Fade Away. I forgot by who it was. I forgot, who sings the song, but that's what this verse reminds me of. That's how they're gonna fade away. They're gonna fade away like the green plants. And so you don't want to be envious of people that's going to fade away when it really hit the fan. You don't want to be envious of these people. You don't want to be frightened of these people because they're going to fade away. You know what I mean? No need to be frightened. No need to be envious. Verse 3. Verse 3, bet. Trust in Yahuwah and do good. Dwell in the earth and feed on steadfastness. So trust in Yahuwah and do good is what the Most High is telling us through David. Trust in the Most High, trust in the Most High God, and do good. How do we do good? We do good by others. We do good by ourselves. We do good by treating others how we would want to be treated. That's how we do good. It's that simple. It's that simple. That's all he's asking us to do. Treat others how we want to be treated. That sums up the instructions. That sums up the instructions. It's not that it's not that complicated at all. I mean, the flesh makes it complicated. We have struggles with our flesh, the desires of the flesh, the temptations of the flesh. But it's not hard to treat others how the flesh wants. Even the flesh wants to be treated, with respect. Even the flesh wants to be treated, with fairness. So it's not hard to treat others with respect and treat others with fairness. It shouldn't be hard. But you have those who make it, they make it look like, harder than it actually is. So trust in Yahuwah and do good. Dwell in the earth and feed on steadfastness. Verse 4. And delight yourself in Yahuwah and let him give you the desires of your heart. Let him give you the desires of your heart. Let him give you the desires of your heart. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really going to entertain that. But what all I can say is that, words in English are not the same as words, and at the same time, if anything offends someone, any words that offend another, that's not to be said. You know what I mean? If it's not offensive, even if it's a foul word in the English language, if it's not offending nobody, then it's not considered, according to scripture, a bad word if it's not offending someone. But you have people that are offensive of hearing bad words. So you may be offended. So it just depends on who you're around. But like if it's directly offending someone, yeah, it's offensive, But yeah. Verse 4. And it says, and delight yourself in Yahuwah and let him give you the desires of your heart. So delight yourself in Yahuwah and let him give you the desires of your heart. So delight, you have to appreciate the Most High. You can't take the Most High for granted. You can't take your Creator for granted. Especially when it's been shown to you when he intervenes. It's been shown to you when he gets involved. It's been shown to you that only he would know that you needed him when you needed him. It's been shown to you that only he would know that you were thinking this or you were in need of this. You have to appreciate those moments. You have to appreciate those times when they come around, those aha moments, and count those blessings. Count those blessings. That's what they mean when they say count those blessings, is when, you got to give that praise when it's due. You got to give him that credit when it's due. Give him that praise when it's due. That's how you delight in the Most High. It says, and delight yourself in Yahuwah and let him give you the desires of your heart. Let him give you the desires of your heart. Now, the desires of your spiritual heart. The desires of your fleshly heart, he's not going to give you. The desires of your fleshly heart is likely not good for you. It's not good for your spiritual heart. What's good for the flesh heart What's good to what appears to be good, like tasty to the flesh, is not beneficial to the spirit. You know what I mean? It's not beneficial to the spirit you. So he's talking about your spirit heart, you know? And let him give you the desires of your heart, your spiritual heart. That would be, that would be a partner. That would be food. That would be a roof over your head. That would be an income. That'd be a job to labor 6 days and work or have your own business. That'd be a family. That'd be a child. That'd be, this is the desires of your heart that are healthy for you, for both your flesh and your spirit. But the desires like that, bad habits and, you know, yeah, we know what's not good for the heart. We know what's bad desires, that's not good for us. And we just, yeah, that's something that he's not going to give you. He's not going to let you self-destruct. Verse 5, Gimel, commit your way to Yahuwah and trust in him. And he does it. And he does it. Trust in the Most High and he does it. Commit your way to him and he does it. You have to commit your way, meaning your way has to be overridden by his way. You have to override your way with his way. And how you do that, you override your way with his way by getting to know his way, his instructions, getting to know his ways, getting to know his instructions, getting to know what he asks of us. And whatever is in conflict, whatever is counterproductive to his ways, that what your flesh wants to do, that your ways wants to do, and what you want to, how you want to do it, you have to compromise for his ways. And most likely all it is treating somebody how they would with respect, and treating him with respect. All he asks you to do is set apart his days, set apart day. 6 days you labor, 7th you rest. Honor his name. Don't make other gods out of sticks, stones, and objects. Don't make other gods out of his creation, his people, or his animals. This is all he asks you to do. He's not asking for much. He's really not asking for much. So that's all you got to do. Give him the utmost respect and give others the respect that you would want, to receive yourself. This is how you receive everything else, everything you desire. Commit your way to Yahuwah and trust in him. And he does it. So trusting in him is doing what you're supposed to do according to his way. Trusting him is that you trust that he's going to take care of you without you having to go out your way and force it. Go out your way and about it your way and force something to happen. We got a bad habit of that. We need to just, trust that if we labor, if we're blessed with a job or something, a way to make money, an income legally, you have to just labor and trust that he's going to make a way. He's going to make it happen. 6 days you labor, the 7th you rest. 6 days that's all he's asking you to do. Rest on his 7th day. Work for 6 days, rest on the 7th. Rather you work in your own business, working for somebody else's business until you own your own business. 6 days you labor, the 7th you rest. And something's going to come your way. Trust in him that he's going to send you something, whatever it is that you need. Whatever it is. Verse 6, and he shall bring forth your righteousness as the light, and your right ruling as midday. Verse 7. Dalet, rest in Yahuwah, and wait patiently for him. Do not fret because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man doing wicked devices. Notice how notice how the Most High is speaking through David, the same things that he spoke through Solomon. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 37. But if those who are familiar with the book of Proverbs, you'll see the same wisdom spoken through that was spoken through Solomon is not that different from the wisdom that's spoken through David. Not that different at all. So it's like it's almost identical. It's almost and it makes sense. That's his daddy. That's his daddy, and they're all getting it from their daddy. Their spiritual heavenly father. They're all getting it from the same source. So rest in Yahuwah and wait patiently for him. For it says, rest in Yahuwah, the Most High God, and wait patiently for him. Wait patiently for him to open the door for you. Do not fret. Do not be upset because of him who prospers in his way. Like basically, don't be upset by these illegal doers, those who work in illegal, dealings or doing oppressive things in the world, or corrupt things in the world, or capitalizing on the weak. Don't get upset by that. It says, do not fret because of him who prosper in his way, because of the man doing wicked devices. Don't pay that no mind. Don't let that be, don't let that be something that you desire to do yourself, or you get envious and, want to look into doing yourself. You have to fight that. You have to fight that temptation off, because it's easy to get tempted by seeing somebody else cut corners, and you looking like, man, I want to cut some corners too. Trust me, I've cut them corners. I was a corner cutter. You know what I mean? I was a corner cutter. But I got up out of that. The Most High forced me up out of that. There were consequences that came with that, and I paid those consequences, just like everyone else would. No one would go unpunished. Verse 8, he abstain from displeasure and forsake wrath. Do not fret also to do evil. So it's like, don't get tempted to do evil, man. Don't get mad and angry and upset and impatient with the Most High. Like, man, I got to make a way. I got to do something. No, you don't want to get in that state. You don't want to be in that state. You don't want to find yourself in that place where you like, man, forget this. I'm going to go make it happen. Do what you were blessed to do, as far as like whatever job you were blessed with, whatever gift you were blessed with, whatever talent you was blessed with, whatever company you were blessed with, whatever business owned, family business, whatever income you were blessed with, work that until he opened another door for you, until he increases it for you. Trust in that until he increases it for you. Don't try to force that increase. Don't try to force that increase don't try to force that increase in illegal avenues. Don't try to force that increase through illegal avenues. That's getting impatient and finding yourself upset. You know what I mean? Verse verse 9. For evildoers are cut off, but those who wait on Yahuwah, they shall inherit the earth. So yeah, for evildoers are cut off. So when you go doing evil, you get yourself cut off. You're going to cut yourself off from the source. You're going to cut yourself off from the source of all things, all blessings. You know, you're going to cut yourself off from the source of all, pretty much everything. And, you know, how scary would that be? For evildoers are cut off, but those who wait on Yahuwah, the Most High God, they shall inherit the earth. They shall inherit the earth. So you just wait a little bit, man. Have some patience. Have some patience. You know, he's coming to you. You know, he's coming to you. If you're doing what he asks, if you treating others how you would want to be treated, if you treating him, you giving him the utmost respect, you resting on his day, you working 6 days, you know, just, yeah, be patient. He's going to come around to you. Verse 10. Wow. Yet a little while and the wrong is no more, and you shall look on his place, but it is not. So yet a little while, you're going to see that the wrong going to fade away. Those doing wrong, treating people wrong, they're going to fade away. This is what you're going to see. You're going to notice this. And it never fails. This happens in every generation. Those who do people wrong, those who do what is wrong, say what is wrong, and you know, do people wrong, they fade away. They eventually check out. And you know, their time comes, and yeah, now you have a new generation of those who do people wrong, say what is wrong, and do what is wrong. So yeah, it's time for everybody that's doing wrong. For evildoers are, it says, yet a little while, and the wrong is no more. And you shall look on his place, but it is not. You should look like, what happened to that person? What happened to that person? They were just saying what was wrong. What happened to that person? Oh, they was just doing what was wrong. What happened to that person? They was just doing people wrong. Yeah, it caught up with them. It caught up with them. So yeah. Verse 11, but the meek ones shall inherit the earth and delight themselves in plenty of peace. So this is what goes, is the meek ones, those who are friendly, those who are approachable, you know, they shall inherit the earth. They shall inherit the earth. This is the same message that the Messiah came along and was speaking. Same message that the Messiah came along and started and was delivering in the book of Matthew. But the meek ones shall inherit the earth and delight themselves in plenty of peace. Because those who are friendly, those who are approachable, those who are treating others how they would want to be treated, they will be the only ones left. I promise you. They will be the only ones left. This is what the prophecies are leading up to, is getting rid of all scumbag type people. All people who are jerks. All people who are wicked, evil. All people who are treacherous, heartless. This is what the prophecies are leading up to get rid of these people. Every event. Every event. Every event. And this is what till all you have is those who are, you know, treating others how they want to be treated in peace. Verse 12. Zayin. The wrong plots against the righteous and gnashes his teeth at him. This is what the wrong does. Hates on the righteous, hates on those who are, you know, guarding the commands of the Most High. This is what the wrong, they sit back and hate and gnash their teeth, and they're under the influence, the strong influence of the ancient knowledge of evil. So they really don't know. They really don't know. Why they hating. They really don't know why they're angry with the righteous. They really don't know why they're angry with the obedient, with the meek. Verse 13. Yahuwah laughs at them. Yahuwah laughs at him, for he sees that his day is coming. The Most High is laughing at him. The Most High is laughing at these folks who do what is wrong, say what is wrong, and do people wrong, and plot against the righteous. The Most High is laughing at them because, he sees that their day is coming. He sees this. He sees that their day is coming. They don't see it. We don't see it. The Most High sees it. So he's laughing like, okay, we'll see. We'll see who have the last laugh. And the Most High truly has the last laugh. He would truly, listen, best believe the Most High would be the only one that has the last laugh. He would be the only one, him and his people, his children, his spiritual children, who treat others how they would want to be treated. And treat and give him the utmost respect, and following the examples of his only begotten Son. Verse 14. Het, the wrong have drawn the sword and have bent their bow to cause the poor and the needy to fall, to slay those who walk straightly. This is what the wrong has done. To this day, the wrong has, bent their bow. This is the book of Psalms, by the way. The wrong have bent their bow. Book of Psalms, chapter 37. To this day, the wrong has bent their bow and caused the poor and the needy to fall. To slay those who walk straightly. Those who are trying to do, what the Most High asked them to do. Like, verse 15, the sword does enter into their own heart, and their bows are broken. They end up harming themselves. These folks who are plotting on the righteous, plotting on the obedient, plotting on the spiritual children of God, they end up hurting themselves every time. They end up hurting themselves every time. Verse 16, Tet, better is the little of the righteous one than better is the little of the righteous one than the riches of many wrongdoers. Better is the little of the righteous one. It's better to have what you need. It's better to have what you need. Always have what you need than to have the riches of many wrongdoers. Because what comes with those riches are the bad end of the prophecy. What comes with the riches of the wrongdoers is the bad end of the prophecy, the wrong end of the prophecies when they play out. When the prophecies start to fulfill, when the prophecies fulfill themselves one by one. That's what comes with having the riches of the wrongdoers. It's better to have a little, meaning what you need. It's better to have what you need. It says, better is the little one, better is the little of the righteous one than the riches of many wrongdoers. Verse 17, for the arms of the wrongdoers are broken, but Yahuwah sustains the righteous. The 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 arms of the wrongdoers are broken, man. But Yahuwah sustains the righteous. So you want to truly be a righteous one so he can sustain you. You want to truly be this righteous one so he can sustain you. You want to make sure that you're following the examples, the lessons of his only begotten son, which was no different than what his prophets of old followed. You want to make sure you're following the prophecies, watch them fulfill themselves before your eyes. Make sure you're following the spiritual knowledge, wisdom and understanding of his of his kings that he spoke through, like David and Solomon. And you want to make sure you're watching his instructions, you guarding his commandments, you're, obeying his spiritual law and his spiritual government. For the arms of the wrongdoers are broken, but Yahuwah sustains the righteous. Who are the righteous? Those who guard his commands, those who honor his commands, those who keep his commands top of mind. Filter everything they say, everything they do, everywhere they go through his commands. That's how he sustains you. That's what makes you a righteous one. Verse 18, Yad Yahuwah knows the days of the perfect, and their inheritance is forever. He knows the days of the perfect, those who strive to perfect this. To perfect is not you can't be perfect in the flesh, but you can be perfect in your spirit self, your spiritual child of God within you. You could be perfect within that by ruling over your flesh, by putting your flesh in its place, not letting it do what it wants to do, say what it wants to say, go where it wants to go, be with who it wants to be with. That's the perfect. Those who are perfect in their spirit. That's perfection. You're perfect. You're perfecting, ruling over your wickedness. You're perfecting, filtering your wicked thoughts. You're perfecting, filtering your wicked actions. You're perfecting, filtering your wicked words. That's the perfection that he expects. He expects perfection from your spirit, not your flesh. Your flesh cannot be perfect. Your flesh cannot be perfect. Your flesh cannot be a saint. Your flesh cannot be holy, set apart. Your flesh is none of that. Your flesh wants all the smoke. Your flesh wants all the smoke. Verse 18. Verse 19. They are not ashamed in the day. They are not ashamed. One second. Verse 19. They are not ashamed in a time of evil, and in the days of scarcity of food, they are satisfied. So I'm going to move up to the top. It says, Yahuwah knows the days of the perfect, and their inheritance is forever. Verse 19, they are not ashamed in a time of evil, and in the days of scarcity of food, they are satisfied. In the days of scarcity of food, they are satisfied. Don't worry about, listen, we in times like this that we need to be not worried, man. We in some times where all through the headlines, they're saying this, they're saying that, and they're trying to stir up fearmonger. It says, this is what the Most High has to say. This is perfect timing. Yahuwah knows the days of the perfect, and their inheritance is forever. If you're perfect in treating others how you would want to be treated, if you're perfect in following the lessons and teachings and examples and demonstrations of the only begotten Son, if you're perfect at that, ruling over your flesh, depriving your flesh of what it wants to say, do, and go, your inheritance is forever. It says in verse 19, it says, they are not ashamed in a time of evil. You will not be ashamed in the time of evil. You won't be ashamed because you know where you stand. You know what you've done. You know where you know what you haven't been doing. You know what you've been stopping yourself from doing. You know what you could have done and you just didn't, because you demonstrated that your true identity is the spiritual child of God within you, and you rule over your flesh. So you know you good. It says they are not ashamed in the time of evil, and in the days of scarcity of food, they are satisfied. So when everyone is hungry and I ain't got no food, you will be satisfied. You will be satisfied because you were doing what the Most High asked you to do. You were doing what his only begotten Son, the examples his only begotten Son left to do. This is the only way to be satisfied when there's a scarcity of, when the days come when there's scarcity of food, and in the time of evil. How fitting is this verse right now? I didn't pick this out. It just so happened to be, it just so happened to land on what is read throughout the year. This just landed on the calendar of my Bible readings. And it says, you know, it says, Yahuwah, the Most High God, knows the days of the perfect, those who are perfect in following his instructions, meaning treating others how they, want to be treated. And their inheritance is forever. Their inheritance is forever. They are not ashamed in a time of evil. And in the days of scarcity of food, they are satisfied. Verse 20, Kath, but the wrongdoers shall perish, and the enemies of Yahuwah like the splendor of the meadows. They vanish like smoke. They vanish away. Like smoke, they vanish. Like, are you? The wrongdoers should perish, and the enemies of Yahuwah, the Most High God, like the splendor of the meadows, they vanish. Like smoke, they vanish away. Like smoke. Like he's going to smoke them. Like he's smoking all his enemies, all who are in opposition of him. He's smoking them. You don't want to get smoked by the Most High, man. Verse 21. And I'm not talking about smoke like, puffing on something. I'm talking about, a snap of the finger and you turn into, you just smoke. You went from being a solid being to smoke, to vapor. Verse 21, Lamed, the wrongdoer is borrowing and does not repay, but the righteous one shows favor and gives. Come on, man. Like, how is this not? Is this not any different than what the Proverbs be speaking on? Is this not? Is this not in this, the same message that Solomon spoke, the same message that the Most High, the Son of the Most High, the Messiah, Yahushua HaMashiach, came along and delivered? Same is the same message. Verse 22. For his blessed ones inherit the earth, but those cursed by him are cut off. Those cursed by him are cut off. Verse 23, Mem, the steps of a man are ordered by Yahuwah, and he delights in his way. So we be thinking that we're doing our thing and doing things. We in control of something, and no, that's the Most High making it happen. The steps of man are ordered by Yah, and that's both. That's even if they're making the wrong steps. If people think they're carrying out wickedness and treachery and evil on their own. The Most High is pulling the strings in order to fulfill his prophecies. Believe it or not. Verse 24, though he falls, he is not cast down. For Yahuwah is supporting his hand. So you may fall as one who, observed the instructions of the Most High. You may fall, you may stumble, you may have a setback. But it says, though he falls, he or she is not cast out. He or she is not cast down. For Yahuwah is supporting his hand. His or her hand, he's supporting it. Verse 25, none. I have been young, and now I am old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, or his seed begging for bread. Come on, man. Did Solomon not come along? Did Solomon not come along and say the same things? I have been young and now I am old, yet I have not seen the righteous one, those who guard his commandments. Those are his righteous one. He's saying, I have not seen a righteous one. I have not seen a righteous forsaken, or his seed begging for bread. You're not going to see that. You're not going to see that. If you're truly following his instructions and doing, what he's asking, you're going to always have food to eat. That's just how it is. Verse 26. All day long he is showing favor in lending, and his seed is for a blessing. So all day long you're going to find yourself lending because you're so blessed up. You're going to find yourself, lending to others more than you need to borrow yourself. Verse 27, Shemek, turn away from evil and do good and dwell forever. Turn away from evil and do good and dwell forever. Just like he said from the top of this chapter. And dwell forever. If you turn away from evil and do good, you're look forward to dwelling forever. You can look forward to dwelling forever. Verse 28, for Yahuwah loves right ruling and does not forsake his lovingly committed ones. They shall be guarded forever, but the seed of the wrongdoers is cut off. The seed of the wrongdoers are cut off. But those who, for Yahuwah loves right ruling. For those who are treating people fairly, doing what is honest, committed to it, they shall be guarded forever. But the seed of the wrongdoers is cut off. Verse 29, the righteous shall inherit the earth and dwell in it forever. The righteous are those who guard his commands. They are the ones who will be here forever. Verse 30, Peh, the mouth of the righteous speaks wisdom, and his tongue talks of right ruling. Those who guard his commands speak what is wise. This is because they speaking, the Most High is speaking through them. That's where the source of righteous wisdom come from. Not finessing, not manipulating, not trying to pull a wool over others' eyes, not trying to trick people up. Verse 30, Peh, the mouth of the righteous speak wisdom, and his tongue talks of right ruling, talks of fairness. Verse 31, the Torah of his Elohim is in his heart. His steps do not slide. You have to put his instructions in your heart. Get to know those instructions. Get to know those instructions. And your steps do not slide. Verse 32, Sadi, the wrong one is watching for the righteous and is seeking to slay him. This is what they're plotting. This is what the treacherous are plotting to do all day, every day. Verse 33, Yahuwah does not leave him in his hand or let him be declared wrong when he is judged. No one would go unpunished. No one would go unpunished. Verse 34, quoth, wait on Yahuwah and guard his way, and he shall exalt you to inherit the earth. When the wrongdoers are cut off, you shall see it. You shall see it. Verse 35, Resh, I have seen the wrongdoer in great power and spreading himself like a native green tree. Verse 36, yet he passed away, and see, he was not, and I sought him, but he was not found. This is what eventually happens to those who treat people wrong, do what is wrong, and say what is wrong. This is what eventually happens to them. Verse 37, Sheen, watch the perfect and observe the straight, for the later end of each is peace. Watch the perfect and observe the straight. The perfect are those who, watch themselves. Watch what they say about people. Watch, they careful not to offend people. They're careful not to, harm people, steal from people, do anything manipulative to people, lie to people. Watch the perfect and observe the straight. The straight are doing what is legit, not cutting corners. For the latter end of each is peace. Peace. That's what's coming to those who are, sticking to the script of integrity, sticking to the script of the lessons and teachings and demonstrations and, examples of his only begotten son. Sticking to the spiritual knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that he spoke through David and Solomon. This is who they are. Verse 38, but the transgressors shall be destroyed together. The latter end of the wrong shall be cut off. Verse 39, tall. But the deliverance of the righteous is from Yahuwah, their strength in time of distress. The deliverance, his only begotten son. He's the deliverance. Following his examples is the deliverance. Following his demonstrations is the deliverance. Following his teachings is the deliverance. Following his lessons is the deliverance. Verse 40, and Yahuwah does help them and deliver them. He delivers them from the wrongdoers and saves them because they took refuge in him. You have to make it clear and known humbly, put pride, ego, everything aside, and, he delivers them from the wrongdoers and saved them because they took refuge in him. You have to start taking refuge in the Most High, man. The Most High God. Verse 38. O Yahuwah, do not rebuke me in your wrath, nor chastise me in your hot displeasure. So he's obviously venting. This is David himself venting, asking the Most High, Most High God, do not rebuke me in your wrath, nor chastise me in your hot displeasure. So it's obviously and clear that it's something David has, is feeling guilty of. Verse 2, for your arrows have pierced me, and your hand comes down on me. So this is the discipline, and this is the correction. This is what David is describing is what we go through every day that's unfortunate. It may be an unfortunate event, may be an unfortunate encounter. It may be any kind of misunderstanding or unfortunate, that we come encounter with. This is what David is describing. He says, for your arrows have pierced me, and your hand comes down on me. That's what he does to all of us. He gives us spiritual discipline, spankings. He stirs up trouble around us. He stirs it all up. He stirs it up around us. He stirs it up within us. Verse 3, there is no soundness. There is no soundness in my flesh because of your rage, nor peace in my bones because of my sin. Because of my sin, this is David acknowledging his sin. This is David acknowledging that he's been cut off and felt like he's been cut off when he have sinned. Felt no peace in his bones because of the rage of the Most High. Because of his sin. Verse 4, my crookedness have passed over my head like a heavy burden, too heavy for me. How humble is that? Verse 5, my wounds have become stinky, festering because of my folly. Verse 6, I have been bent down, I have been bowed down very much. All day long I have gone mourning. So he went mourning and humbling himself. he basically went from fooling himself, being a fool, acting a fool, where it says, my wounds have become stinky, festering because of my foolishness. He went from that to humbling himself. I have been bent down. I have been bowed down very much, and all day long, I have gone mourning. Verse 7. For my loins have become filled with burning, and there is no soundness in my flesh. I have become weak and greatly crushed. I howled from the groaning of my heart. Yahuwah, all my desire is before you, and my sighting has not been hid from you. Verse 10. My heart is throbbing, my strength has forsaken me, and the light of my eyes is also with me. Verse 11. My loved ones and my friends stand back from my plague, and my neighbors stand far away. Verse 12. And those seeking my life lay a snare, and those seeking my evil have spoken of displeasure. This is how it be when when you're trying to get away from the ancient knowledge of evil. He starts trying to, send old friends your way, but they realize that that's not what you into anymore. They realize that's not what you're doing anymore. Verse 11. Verse 13. But I, as one deaf, do not hear, and as a dumb one who does not open his mouth. Verse 14. I am like a man who does not hear and who has not rebuked his mouth. That's the humble state that you want to be in, all ego aside. Verse 14, I am like a man who does not hear and who has no rebukes in his mouth. Verse 15, for on you, O Yahuwah, I have waited. You do answer, O Yahuwah, my Elohim. Yes, he does. Amen. Verse 16, for I said, otherwise they would rejoice over me. When my foot slips, they would exalt themselves over me. This is what they'll do when they catch you slipping. Verse 17, for I am ready to fall, and my pain is always within me. For my enemies, for I am ready to fall, and my pain always within me. For I confess my crookedness. I am sorry over my sin. That's simple. I am sorry over my sin. I confess my crookedness. Like, we can't go acting like there's nothing to see here or there was nothing to be seen, like the Most High didn't see you do what you did. Like the Most High didn't hear you say what you said. He heard it and he seen it. He heard it and he seen it. Verse 18, for I confess my crookedness. I am sorry over my sin. Verse 19, but my enemies are alive. They have become strong, and those hating me falsely are many. Those hating me falsely are many. Everyone can relate to this. And those who repay evil for good, they oppose me because I follow what is good. This is what they do. This is what they're doing. They're opposing any and all people who are striving to do right. Verse 21, do not forsake me, O Yahuwah, O my Elohim. Be not far from me. Be not far from me. Verse 22, hasten to help me, O Yahuwah, my deliverance. Chapter 39, verse 1, I have said, let me guard my ways against sinning with my tongue. Let me guard my mouth with a muzzle, while the wrongdoer is before me. Come on, man. Like, this is what we need to be guarding. This is what we need to be watching. Verse 2, I became dumb, keeping still. I was silent for good, and my pain was stirred while I was meditating the first burnt. Then I spoke with my lips. So this is where you want to get. You want to get to the point where you're making prayer, and you're making contact with the Most High through prayer, and with the mind state that you'll have, with the mind state that He will provide. Verse 4, Yahuwah, let me know my end in the measure of my days. What is? Let me know how short-lived I am. See, you have made my days a handkerchief. I'm sorry. I read that wrong. It says, see, you have made my days a handbreadth, and my life is non-existence before you. Only all men standing are all breath. Only all men standing are all breath. Verse 6, as but a shadow each one walks. They busy themselves only in vain. He heads up wealth, but knows not who gathers them. Verse 7, and now, Yahuwah, what do I wait for? My expectancy is in you. Verse 8, deliver me from all my transgressions. Do not fret me the approach of the foolish. Verse 9, I was dumb. I did not open my mouth because it was you who did it. So when he say he is dumb, basically like he shut down. He didn't speak. He humbled himself and just, did what was did what was asked of him. You know what I mean? That's what he did. So that's what dumb mean. Whenever you hear the word dumb in the scriptures, that is like, that's what they're referring to as one who's not speaking. Sort of like a mute, going mute. So that's what he's describing. He said, I was dumb. I did not open my mouth because it was you who did it. Verse 10, turn aside so it's like, before I get into that, it says, deliver me from all my transgressions. Do not make me the reproach of the foolishness. Come on, man. This is the mind state you want to have. This is where we need to be. This is goals. This is spiritual goals. Spiritual life goals. Verse 10, turn aside your stroke from me. I am overcome by the blow of your hand. Verse 11, when you chastise man for crookedness with reproofs, you consume what he loves like a moth. All men are but a breath. All men are but a breath. Every time you see that, that's reminding us all that we're spiritual within. We're spiritual within. Verse 12, hear my prayer, O Yahuwah, and give ear to my cry. Do not be silent at my tears, for I am a stranger with you, a sojourner, as all my fathers were. Verse 13, look away from me, that I might brighten up before I go away and am no more. That's the humility we need to have. We need to work on humbling ourselves before the Most High. I know how tough it is. I know how wicked the flesh can be. I know how evil the flesh can be. I know how tricky the flesh can be. You know, lustful the flesh can be. Tempted the flesh can be. I know this. I'm in the same flesh. We all have flesh. I got flesh just like you do. So we have to do our best to deny our flesh of what it wants to say, deny our flesh of what it wants to do, deny our flesh of who it wants to be with, deny our flesh of where it wants to go. We have to do our best. We have to do our best at this. Really do. That was the book of Psalms. We're going to get into the book of Proverbs quickly because it's late and it's past my bedtime, to be honest. The book of Proverbs, chapter 26, verse 1. Like snow in summer and rain in the harvest, so esteem is not fitting for a fool. So glory is not fitting for a fool. When you glorifying a fool, someone that is doing wickedness, someone who's doing evil, someone is being foolish, when you're glorifying that, when you're giving them glory, it's not fitting. It's really like wrong. Like it's really backwards, is how I would call it. Because you should be giving the glory to a wise one, not a foolish one. Verse 2, as a bird wanders, as a swallow flies about, so a curse without cause does not come. A curse without cause does not come. Can't be cursing people for no reason and expecting stuff to happen to them just because you're envious of them, just because you're jealous of them. And you can't be. Verse 3, a whip for a horse, a bridle for a donkey, and a rod for the fool's backs. That's what it leads to, a spiritual rod. The Most High giving them a spiritual beatdown. You know, everyone who acts the fool expects a spiritual beatdown by the Most High. Something happened, some event, something unfortunate. Verse 4, do not answer a fool according to his folly, lest you also become like him. What this means is, don't entertain fools. When they start talking foolishly, talking slandering and making up lies about people and all this, you can't entertain someone, especially if like someone is just like mocking someone. Like this is what this means is like when someone is mocking someone, making fun of someone, you can't laugh and gas them up to keep going because you'd just be a fool like them. It says, do not answer a fool according to his folly and according to their foolishness. So when they're acting a fool, mocking someone, making fun of someone, don't answer them by laughing and adding to their mockery. Do not answer a fool according to their folly, lest you also become like him. Lest you also become like them. So yeah, you just gotta, you can't give them the pleasure of laughter, as hard as it may be, because we can be fools in our flesh. Our flesh is fools. So our flesh can be foolish. So you got to fight off the urge to laugh at something foolish. You got to fight off the temptation to laugh at someone being mocked and made fun of. This is what this is asking us to do. This is how you demonstrate wisdom, spiritual wisdom, by not laughing even though your flesh wants to laugh. Even though your flesh wants to laugh at somebody being made fun of, even though your flesh wants to laugh at someone being mocked, someone mocking someone else, even though your flesh wants to laugh at this, you demonstrate wisdom, spiritual wisdom, by not laughing, denying yourself of that laughter. I find myself doing it every now and then throughout the day when I come across, social media posts and be like, man, this dude crazy for that, man. Like that's the best that's all I'm going to give it. Like they wild for that, man, cuz my flesh finds it funny. My flesh finds it funny, but my spiritual child, which is the spiritual adult within me, is not humored by it. It's not humored by it. And that's how we got to be. We just got to, that's how you demonstrate the spiritual child of God. That's how you demonstrate spiritual wisdom. By, even though your flesh wants to laugh and finds it hilarious, your spirit self, like, just shake it off and smile. You know what I mean? Because you know that is wrong. You know that is slander. You know that is wicked. You know that is ugly. You know that is mean. You know that is going too far. You know all these things. Verse 5, answer a fool according to his folly, lest he become wise in his own eyes. So this switched it up. It switched the verse around. But what it's saying is, when a fool is acting a fool, when like saying something foolish, like making up something about somebody, and you know it isn't true, you gotta intervene. This is when you do answer and be like, no, that's not true. He didn't do that. I was there. No, that's not true. She didn't say that. I was there. This is how you stop a person from being wise in their own eyes. It says, answer a fool according to his folly, lest he become wise in his own eyes. So they might be thinking they right about something, right about a person. Got this person all figured out, but you know the person that they're talking about, and they like, what they're saying is not right. And so you like, man, no, that's not how he is. That's not how she is. That's not how that person is. You got to be the one that tell them, because they're going to feel like they're wise, and they know that person, they know this person to be this, and they're going to feel wise in their own eyes. So you got to intervene and you're like, oh no, I can't let you get away with that. I can't let you say that about him. That's wrong. That's not true. I can't let you say that about her. That's wrong. That's not true. I can't let you say that, period. That's wrong. It's not true. You're wrong for that. I mean, you're wrong about that. And you correct them like, this is how, this is this, this is that. This is this is that. This ain't this ain't that. This is what this Proverbs is asking. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 26, verse 5. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he become wise in his own eyes. What this means is when somebody talking something they don't know about, talking like they know something, and you know the truth, and you know what they're saying is false, you got to let them know they're false and they're wrong. If not, they're going to think that they know. They're going to think that they're right. They're going to think that they're wise in their own eyes. Verse 6, He who sends a message by the hand of a fool cuts off feet, drinks damage. So it's like you can't send a fool to deliver a message. Can't expect a fool to deliver the right message. It's going to end up being, they're going to end up remixing it. It's going to end up being a totally different message by the time it gets delivered. That's like rumors. Rumors, the truth, go from the truth to being something totally different once it gets through three different foolish, messengers. Verse 7, the legs of the lame hang limp. The legs of the lame hang limp. So is a proverb in the mouth of fools. It's useless because they don't understand the proverb for real. So it's like it's no point of it being in their mouth or them trying to say it because they don't really believe it and they don't understand it. They're just saying it to sound smart. Verse 8, like one binding a stone in a sling, so is he who gives esteem to a fool. Again, fools don't deserve glory. Fools don't deserve, to be glorified. Verse 9, a thorn goes into the hand of a drunkard. So is a proverb in the mouth of fools. Again, it's not fitting for a fool to be saying something smart, like educated, like intellectual. It just doesn't fit that person's mouth. Like verse 11, as a dog returns to his own vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. And this is our flesh. Each of us are fools in our flesh. Each of us are fools in our flesh. And our flesh wants to repeat. Our flesh wants to return to the vomit. Our flesh wants to repeat our foolishness. The flesh wants to repeat it. It wants to. But we have to be the spiritual children of God within and deny the flesh of repeating that foolishness. Because we know what that foolishness got us. We know what that foolishness led us to. We know what that foolishness got us a spiritual beat down by the Most High. Verse 12, have you seen a man wise in his own eyes? There is more expectancy for a fool than for him. So a man wise in his own eyes, like you're just wise on world wisdom and you think you're your own creator and you don't believe in the creator and you believe in all these thousands, you believe in man and man, you believe man is the creator and you believe woman is the creator and you believe this is all nonsense. You know what I mean? And this is what it says. It says, have you seen a man wise in his own eyes? That's being wise in your own eyes. And with being wise in your own eyes, there is more expectancy for a fool than for a person that's wise in their own eyes, thinking that they're their own God. Thinking that there is no God. That's your own understanding. Verse 13, the lazy one says there is a lion in the way, a fierce lion in the streets. This is what people say to call out for work. They call to work and make up stories like there's a lion outside, like it's snowing today, or their car broke down, or their son is sick. Just to call out for work. This is what lazy people do. It says the lazy one says there's a lion in the way, a fierce lion. And they say this to avoid going to work. People of old are no different. People of today are no different from the people of old. We the same. We got the same tricks up our sleeve. Same tricks. Verse 14, as a door turns on its hinges, So does the lazy one turns on his bed. Trust me, my flesh can be, I know the turning on the bed. My flesh it feels get lazy every morning, get the turning on the bed, and it's my spirit self, my spiritual child of God within me got to tell myself, get out this bed, man. Get out this bed and go to work. But it's the flesh. Each of our fleshes is lazy and does this, turns on the bed. Verse 15, the lazy one buries his hand in a dish. It tires him to bring it back to his mouth. Man, you have a lot of people that are so out of shape that are doing this as I speak. Burying their hands in a dish, something, a snack or something, a bag of chips or something. And it tires them to bring it back to their face, bring it back to their mouth. You have unhealthy people out there, out of shape people who it tires them to feed themselves. Like it tires them to feed themselves. That's bad, man. Like that's bad. That should be, that should be the last straw. When you too tired to feed yourself, as far as like you're too overweight to feed yourself, like, and it. Verse 16, the lazy one is wiser in his own eyes than 7 rendering advice. Can't tell a person nothing. It'd be 7 people trying to explain it to him and tell them they wrong, but they don't want to hear it. They're wise in their own eyes. 7 people is telling them, yo, you're wrong. This is the truth. Now, in some cases, you have spiritual wisdom and 7 fools be trying to say something is this and that about their trusting in their, in their world government. And you're the one trying to explain to them, no, don't believe it. Don't, you know what I mean? Trust in the spirit government. Trust in the Most High, Yah, the God, Most High God, God's government. That's the only government you can trust. It's God's government. Spiritual government. God's spiritual government. Because, yeah, the rest is just a mess. Verse 17, a passerby meddling in a strife not his own is like one who takes hold of a dog by the ear. So this is the verse in the Bible. This is the verse in the Bible that tells you to mind your business. This is the wise proverb telling us to mind our business, to not get in quarrels that doesn't have nothing to do with us. You can't get in between fights of strangers. This is the verse that tells us not to do this. A passerby meddling in a strife not his own is like one who takes hold of a dog by the ears. Like you're not going to take a dog by the ears, you're going to get bit. So why would you take a stranger, get in between a stranger and another stranger in what they got going on? I can say if you know these people, you make peace between them. If they're kids, you try to make peace between them. But if they're strange adults, they're adult strangers, you got to mind your business, man. You got to mind your business. Verse 18, like a madman who throws sparks, arrows, and death. Verse 19, so is a man who deceives his neighbor and says, I was only joking. So this is like, I remember doing this as a kid, thinking I was slick. This is what we call white lies. People tell white lies and be like, man, I was just playing. No, you was lying. You just plain lying. You just, oh, I tricked you. No, you was just plain lying. Call it for what it is. I was just joking. No, you lied. You're lying. You're making up stories. You knew what you knew your intentions. Verse 20, for lack of wood, the fire goes out, and without a slander, strife ceases. You get rid of people who slander and talk about people all day. You get those people from around you, you get drama away from you. When you remove people who talk about people all day and talk behind people, make up stories about people and lie on people, when you remove these people out of your circle, you remove drama out of your circle, literally. That's the source of the drama, is the slanderer. The source of the drama is the slanderer. The source of the drama around you is the person who slander. And it may be yourself. So that's the source. Once you talk about people, you're creating drama in your life. When you make up stuff about people, you're creating drama in your life. So if you're not doing it and you keep people away from you that does it, you drama free. You be drama free. When you stop mocking people, making fun of people, and making up lies about people, and slander and talking about people behind their back, and you keep people away from you that does that, drama free. Trust me, I know. I ain't got none of that going on. And then I'll be on the outside looking in like, man, I'm glad I ain't got that headache. I'm glad I ain't got that going on. I'm glad I ain't got to hear that. I'm glad they ain't coming back to me, because that's what it's going to lead to. Somebody trying to come put hands on you. Somebody trying to put hands and feet on you for what you said about them. Somebody trying to put hands and feet on you for what you made up about them. Verse 21, or hands and feet on somebody who around you who made up something, and you might get caught up in it. They try to beat on somebody who, you hang out with, and you got to defend them. Now you got to stick up for them. Now you got to fight with them because they done said something about somebody. They done made up a story about somebody. Females know this. Females are they the biggest culprit in this. Slander and talking about each other behind their backs, making up stories about each other, and wondering why, they getting a friend who didn't say anything. They getting a friend caught up in it. Now they friend gotta get in the fight with you. They gotta help fight other girls that you was talking about. They don't even know these girls. Verse 21, as charcoal is to burning coals and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. People who's making up stuff, man. These troublemakers. People that's talking about people for no reason, man. Troublemakers. This is what leads to people coming after you, coming to get you. Verse 22, the words of a slanderer are as dainty morsel, which go down into the inner parts of the heart. This is what these slanders, people, when you slander someone, it hits people where it hurts, man. That's why slander is a sin. When you slander someone's name, you call a person out of their name, it hits them where it hurts. And that's harder to recover from than blows. It's harder to recover from words than blows. Actual blows to a person. That's why it's a sin to slander. Verse 23, burning lips with an evil heart are like earthenware covered with silver draws. Verse 24, he who hates pretends with his lips, and lays up deceit within him. Yeah, like they really hate. This is they lay up deceit within them because they really hate you. They really don't like you, but they're gonna act as if they like you. They're gonna smile in your face. They're gonna act as if they're happy for you. They're gonna act as if they want the best for you, but they really want to see your downfall. They really don't want to see you prosper. They really don't want to see you come up and progress and go forward. This is what this is talking about. It says, "He who hates pretends with his lips, pretends, pretends with his lips, and lay up deceit within him." They lay up deceit. They don't tell you that they really don't like you. They don't tell you that part. Oh, I love you, sis. I love you, bro. No, you don't. Oh, you don't. Verse 25. Though he speaks kindly, do not believe him, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Though they speak kindly, don't believe them. There are 7 abominations in their heart that they want to see done. They want to see your downfall. They want to see you suffer. They want to see you fail. They want to see you get set back. They want to see you slow up. They want to see you stumble. They want to see you fall. Verse 26, hatred is covered by deceit. His evil is disclosed in the assembly. This is where they really get exposed when you get around people. That's where it gets disclosed. The hatred and the evil, that's where it gets disclosed when you get around other people with this person. And you start to see them trying to make you look bad in front of the person. Try to bring up stuff that they didn't talk about one-on-one, or you did bring up one-on-one with you. Now you start hearing them, try to make fun of you in front of other people. You didn't make fun of me when we were one-on-one. Why try to, make me look bad when we are around other people? We all got to stop ourselves from doing that, because I now it just remind me of something I would, I found myself, doing, as far as like, just bored though, not because I didn't like the person, just out of boredom. Like, I may not agree with what the person was doing, so I would point that out. But it was known, I point that out to them one-on-one. So it's not the same thing. Like, as far as like, if I don't agree with what you're doing is healthy for you, I'm gonna point it out to you, to your face. But and I'll get around other people, I'm gonna point it out, like people who love you. Like, you know what I mean? People who love you, like, man, I'm gonna point it out to them. They still doing this to themselves. They're still doing this to themselves, and they shouldn't. So it's not the same thing. Like, it just made me think of that, because it's like, that's the assembly will expose all that. Verse 27, whoever digs a pit falls into it, and whoever rolls a stone is turned back on him. You try to set people up, and any type of trying to setting people up and trying to trip people up and lay a trap for people, you're only setting up yourself. You're only laying a trap for yourself. You're only laying a trap, and you're setting yourself up. That's what it's going to lead to, either going to prison or getting hurt, seriously hurt, unalived, from trying to set somebody up, backdoor somebody. I'm just saying. People get themselves caught up every day for thinking that they setting somebody up, really setting themselves up. Verse 28, a lying tongue hates its bruised ones, and a flattering mouth works ruin. A lying tongue, you lying about something, you really hate somebody. If you lying to somebody, you hate that person. You gotta hate that person because you're lying to them. You don't like that person. Now, this may be different in a woman's eyes. They may be thinking that, lying is just, is love. You're not telling the truth is saving a person from hurt. But why lead a person on? Why do what you did? So that's another form of you hating the person. But that's another story. And flattering mouth works ruin. You may hear people telling each other what they want to hear in order to, flatter them, to make them feel, manipulate them, and, just telling for the sake of telling the person what they want to hear. You got a lot of people who do that, finessing, manipulating, and you know what I mean? You got a lot of people who do that. Yeah, and just to address this, like there's nowhere in Torah, nowhere in the Torah, the instructions of God. I'm not talking about followers of his only begotten son. Nowhere in Torah, the instructions of God or the lessons of the only begotten son, does it tell you to uncover your head. This is not biblical. This is something taught by a student, another student, which is our ancient student Paul, and that might be misinterpreted. But that nowhere in Scripture, nowhere in here does God or the Son of God say this. Nowhere in that. So anyone bothered by me wearing a hat or my hair being long, nowhere in here that the Son of God says that. Like, and my hair not even long, is short, is shoulder length. My hair is not long like a female. My hair is shoulder length. So this is actually this is actually acceptable. Believe it or not, men in that part of the world most likely had hair that was acceptable. Now, what's not acceptable is putting a razor, getting a haircut. That's not acceptable. Getting a haircut and putting razor and cutting your hair. The same people who talk this might be either dating a person with a bald haircut and get cuts and razors. That's in this. The Torah is against that. Now you may be doing that to yourself, but you're and that's the script. The scriptures is actually telling you not to do that. You know what I mean? No, they wasn't. If God didn't say it, and the Son of God didn't say it, they're brothers. We're all followers of the Messiah. Whether they're ancient brothers in here or up to date brothers today. That's where you get it twisted. That's where most people get it twisted. Putting ancient brothers on a pedestal that they didn't put themselves on a pedestal. They didn't walk around get on a pedestal that you gave them. That brothers and sisters to this day has given them. They didn't present themselves like that. They didn't present themselves like that. God didn't say this. So if in his only begotten son had the last word. So I'm gonna just go to this. Matthew, the book of Matthew, chapter 7. The book of Matthew, chapter 7. This is what I'm on. If the Son of God didn't say it, I don't care about it. I don't care about it. I don't care. I'm not because My ancient brother is no different than my present brother. We both following the Son of God. We both should be following the words of the Son of God. So this is what he said. He said, and everyone who hears these words of mine, this is the book of Matthew chapter 7. The book of Matthew chapter 7, verse 24. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine, everyone who hears these words of mine, everyone who hears these words of mine and does them shall be like a wise man who built his house on a rock. So the words of his, no, the prophets of old did what the Messiah was. The prophets of old never said this. The prophets of old never said this. You're calling a student a prophet. You're calling a disciple a prophet. That's not the prophets of old. That's not the same thing. A student, a disciple, an apostle. That's not the prophets of old, because the prophets of old were speaking the instructions of God and doing the same ways, doing the same lessons and demonstrations as his only begotten son. And this is the problem. You got people more followers of ancient brothers than the Son of God. Just say that. You follow you follow Paul as, instead of Paul, you follow Paul as your prophet, when he never told you to do that. Paul never told you to do that. He never told you to do that. But yet you're doing it. Make it make sense. Paul never told you he was a prophet. But you're calling him a prophet. You're no different than the people in Antioch. I believe one of those towns that was trying to bow down and worship him. They was trying to bow down and worship him, and he like, no, I'm a brother just like you. I'm a brother. Like I don't. You know what I mean? You. If anyone comes along and comes and if it's not, listen, the Torah is the instructions of God was the same instructions then and the same instructions now. Consistent all the way through, from his prophets to his kings to his only begotten son. If it's not that, I don't follow it, bro. I don't follow another brother. I don't follow what another brother tell me to do. If it's not what the instructions say, if it's not the instructions of God himself and his only begotten son that he spoke through his prophets and his kings and his only begotten son, I'm not listening. It's no, like my ancient brother Paul is no different than you on the screen. No different. It's no different. But yeah, it's past my bedtime, man. This not for you. I suggest you show up at another platform who's pretty much worship Paul and look at Paul as a prophet. I don't see Paul as a prophet. Paul wasn't a prophet to me. Paul was my ancient brother in the Messiah. That's all he was. And he had ideas. He had ideas. But if it wasn't the teachings of the Messiah, which I have, if it wasn't the lessons of the Messiah, which I have, I take it with a grain of salt. Anything that Anything that aligned with the Messiah and what he said, that's what I do, because I can trace it back to the Messiah saying it. I can trace it back to God saying it through his ancient prophets, through his kings. It's consistent. It has to be consistent. You only got one place in the scripture where Paul himself is saying this. It's about covering the head and all that. You can't trace it nowhere else. And you got to cross-reference scripture, if I'm not mistaken. But that's another day. That's another story. Y'all bless. This ain't for you. This ain't for you. This ain't for you. You gotta show up on platforms who think Paul is a prophet, and they covered it. They cut their head with razor, even though Torah tell you not to do that. You might be married to a person that get haircuts. You might be attracted to a person that get haircuts. That's actually in the instructions not to do. It's in the actual instructions not to put a razor to your head. But you may be attracted or married or in a relationship with somebody like that. Because I believe you're a girl. I believe you're a female. You're not rebuking because it's not biblical. It's not in Torah. It's not in the instructions of God or the lessons of the teachings of the only begotten Son. Those are the foundations. The instructions of God and the teachings of his only begotten Son. That's what we should be following. That's what we should be obeying. But you don't want to address the razor, though. You don't want to address the razor. You want me to put a razor to my hair and get a haircut. No. The instructions of God told me not to do that. So that's the actual instructions. Hallel Yah, hallelujah, praise Yah. May all glory be to Yah, Yahuwah Shabuoth, Yahuwah Almighty, Yahuwah Most High, Yahuwah El Shaddai. Thank you, Yahuwah. Thank you, Yahushua. Forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. I'm going to bless us out. I'm going to bless us out according to the blessing that was given in the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 23 to 26. The blessing that was given to Moses to bless the people. May Yahuwah bless you, barak you, and guard you. May Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. May Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you peace. Till next time, peace, love, shalom, shalom, peace, and love.